When you meet someone for the first time, there's a moment that lasts no longer than a heartbeat, yet creates an impression strong enough to stay with you for years. It's strange how the mind works, how we can take just a few seconds, a glance, a tone, a subtle pattern of behavior, and form an entire story about who someone might be. We call it intuition. Psychology calls it thin slicing. But whatever name we give it, one truth remains. The human mind notices more than we ever consciously realize. And in that first moment, women, just like men, pay attention to things that speak beyond appearance. They notice traits that reveal comfort, discipline, emotional presence, and the silent language of confidence. They notice what the body doesn't hide, and what the mind unconsciously reveals. This isn't about perfection. It's not about meeting unrealistic standards. It's about the quiet signals that tell a woman something about who you are, even before you speak. When a woman first meets a man, she reads the subtle patterns his body language carries. The way he stands, the way his shoulders rest, the way his energy fills the space around him. She doesn't consciously decide to analyze these things. Her mind simply does it, automatically, instinctively, effortlessly. That first glance can tell her whether he values himself, whether he carries stress, whether he's grounded, or whether he feels out of place in his own skin. She notices effort, not perfection, discipline, not obsession, comfort, not ego. Some women are drawn to the way a man presents himself physically, not because of superficial standards, but because it hints at something deeper, a sense of responsibility, a sense of stability, a sense of care for the life he's building. When someone maintains their physical well-being, it often reflects their internal world. It tells a silent story of consistency, of self-respect, of a man who follows through. But the truth is, every woman is different. Some find a man attractive when his body shows signs of strength. Others don't care about any physical detail, as long as he carries a presence that feels safe, grounded, and real. Some women admire fitness. Others admire gentleness. Many appreciate both, in balance. Yet almost every woman will notice posture long before she notices anything else. Because posture isn't just physical, it's psychological. It exposes how someone feels about themselves. A person with good posture tends to radiate assurance, not arrogance, but steady, grounded energy. And people instinctively trust that. A slouched frame signals distraction, tiredness, or emotional heaviness. A confident posture, even with imperfections, communicates something powerful. I'm here. I'm present. I value myself. It's subtle, but psychology tells us the mind responds to what feels stable, and stability often shows up in the way a person stands. Then, almost effortlessly, a woman notices the face, not for perfection, but for expression. A smile can shift everything. A genuine one, unforced, warm, open, has the power to disarm even the most guarded person. It signals kindness. It signals approachability. It signals emotional intelligence. A smile is more than a facial movement. It's an invitation, a doorway, a moment of human warmth. You can tell a lot about someone from the way they smile. Some people smile with their eyes. Some smile with their entire being. Some barely smile at all. And that hesitation leaves a different kind of impression. A smile can soften the perception of distance. It can make a first meeting feel less like an assessment and more like a connection. And when you think about it, everyone remembers someone who made them feel comfortable, someone who didn't rush, someone who wasn't trying too hard, someone who simply existed with ease. Women also notice a man's voice. not its pitch alone, but its intention. A voice that carries calmness tends to create trust. A voice that moves with steadiness, warmth, or clarity communicates emotional control. The sound of someone's voice is one of the quickest pathways to attraction or discomfort. It reveals so much without trying to reveal anything at all. People often fall in love with voices before faces. They fall in love with the way someone expresses themselves, the way someone chooses words, the softness, the depth, the emotion, or the complete lack of it. The voice is a mirror of the inner world, and a woman can sense whether your voice carries compassion, pressure, nerves, or confidence, long before she forms an opinion of you. Even the way you dress becomes a silent form of communication. Not expensive clothes, not designer labels, just effort. When a man dresses with intention, clean, neat, presentable, it tells a woman that he respects himself, that he pays attention, that he understands atmosphere and context. Clothing is more than fabric. It's an extension of the energy you bring into a room. A simple outfit, worn with confidence and care, can be far more attractive than something expensive worn carelessly. Style isn't about money. It's about awareness. It's about knowing who you are and expressing it without trying to impress anyone. And then there's grooming, the tiny details most people overlook, but the mind notices instantly. Clean hands, neat nails, fresh breath, a haircut that suits your face. Subtle effort shows intention, and intention shows respect. Human connection thrives when both people feel safe, comfortable, and seen. These small signals create that environment. And the truth is, scent is one of the strongest memory triggers known to the human brain. A pleasant scent can anchor you in someone's mind long after you leave the room. You don't need something overpowering, just a clean, subtle, warm scent, something that blends with your natural chemistry. When someone smells good, it creates an emotional association. It signals self-care. It signals awareness. It signals presence. But more than scent, more than style, more than posture or grooming, a woman notices energy. The unspoken kind, the kind you can't fake, the kind that speaks through your eyes, your behavior, your reactions, your vibe. She notices calmness. She notices respect. She notices emotional stability. And nothing captures attention faster than a man who is both grounded and present. She notices the way you look at others, the way you treat people who have nothing to offer you, the way your presence affects the room, even when you're quiet. She notices if you listen, or if you're waiting to speak. She notices if you rush, or if you give life enough space to breathe. A connection is not built through perfection. It's built through authenticity. A woman doesn't fall for a man because he looks a certain way. She falls because he feels a certain way, because his presence is calm, secure, intentional, because his energy carries a sense of safety, not pressure, because his behavior makes her feel seen, not judged. The first things women notice are rarely about judgment. They're about understanding, about reading cues that tell them whether this person is safe to open up to, or whether they need to guard themselves. And here is the deeper truth psychology teaches us. People are drawn to what feels familiar, safe, and emotionally consistent. A man who speaks with warmth. A man who carries himself with quiet confidence. A man who dresses with intention. A man who respects himself. A man who approaches others with kindness. These qualities transcend appearance. The things women notice first are not demands. They are emotional indicators, signs of stability, ease, and sincerity. When a woman observes a man for the first time, she is not looking for perfection. She is simply trying to understand how she might feel in his presence. Does he feel kind? Does he feel grounded? Does he feel present? Does he feel real? That's what leaves a lasting impression. Because at the end of the day, attraction is not about the eyes or the body or the sound of a voice. Attraction is about what these things represent. They represent a man's relationship with himself. They represent how he carries his lived experiences. They represent how he might show up in someone else's life. People remember those who make them feel at ease. People remember those who carry a sense of calm. People remember those who show effort, not for validation, but because they value themselves. And when you truly value yourself, others feel it. They sense it. They respond to it. In a world where so many are trying to prove something, confidence has become rare, not because it's loud, but because it's quiet. If you want to leave a meaningful impression, focus on presence. Focus on intention. Focus on the quiet details that speak louder than words ever can. In every first meeting, you are telling a story long before you say a single sentence. Your posture speaks. Your expression speaks. Your energy speaks. Your scent, your voice, your eyes. Everything joins together to paint a picture of your inner world. And when that picture feels authentic, warm, grounded, and real, that is what people never forget. Because in the end, the things women notice first are simply reflections of the man you already are inside. The more aligned you are with yourself, the more magnetic you become to others. And maybe that's the most important truth of all.